Hello, ladies. It is a beautiful fall day here, and we are fast approaching the month of October. It is just around the corner, and there are many things I'm going to be talking about and teaching on and providing information for during this month of October Madness. But today I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about the subject of Halloween and kind of give a little bit of my background and just some personal thoughts and ideas, things for you to think about. Actually, I'm going to be sharing more information and videos with you as we go along. I will post some below in the comments to try to share some of these videos with you as far as just providing some other insight and different perspectives that might help to open your eyes and just give you a deeper understanding on this. Now, I'll start with me and my family. Personally, I was raised in a home where we did not celebrate Halloween. However, and I was raised in a godly Christian home, but my parents didn't really, for whatever reason, they didn't either, they hadn't researched a lot on it. They knew that it was not good, but our way of dealing with it was we would just, on Halloween night, we would always turn off all the lights in the house and pretty much hide. We wouldn't give out candy. We didn't go trick-or-treating. We didn't dress up. We didn't do any of that, but we didn't really have an understanding or teaching on why we didn't partake. We just knew that it wasn't good. It was an evil holiday. And I'm going to give you, oh, I can't turn it around. I wanted to turn around my camera and show you. There's little buddy here running along. Maybe he'll come right up next to me. I keep getting distracted because there's lots of little squirrels running around out here. But so we didn't have that understanding. I didn't growing up as a child. We just didn't partake. However, we did have harvest festivals or whatever at our church growing up as a kid, and we did dress up for that and, play games and do whatever, and didn't see anything wrong with that and felt that it was harmless and it was just something, as far as, what we were told, it was something to keep us engaged and keep us off the streets from going door to door trick-or-treating or whatever. So that's what we did. And I'm trying to keep my train of thought. I don't have any notes with me, so this is a very relaxed, informal video just to kind of start the topic off and the subject. And again, I will be providing more information, but I just wanted to give you a little background of where I'm coming from. So I know not everyone has the same background, and so it would be a little harder to change things if you've grown up in a home where you went trick-or-treating and you did those things, or if you've raised your children that way, if you have older children, or you've already been doing this for several years with your family. I understand that it's hard to break traditions, but not all traditions are good, and some need to be broken. So I'm not condemning anyone. I'm not at all, you make your own decision what is best for your family, but I do want to get some information out there that will cause you to dig a little deeper on your own, do your own research. I encourage you to do your own research and find out really what it's about and what is the right thing for your family, whether to be involved or to not be involved. And you can make that decision on your own, obviously, and I'm not trying to push anyone in any direction, but many times we do things out of ignorance or out of, what is the other word? I can't think of it. Innocence or ignorance, where we just don't even realize or don't know. But then when that's revealed to us, if you were eating something every day that was harmful for your body and that was destroying your body and destructive, and you didn't know, and then someone came along and told you, hey, and gave you some information to back it up, hopefully you would make a decision to do something different, to say, hey, this is not good what I'm putting in my body, and make a decision to do something different and to make some changes. And so that's all I'm doing, is just trying to shed some light, provide some information, and hopefully just stir your thinking a little bit. I'm not trying to get you to go to your pastor and to make a fuss or throw a fit about, we shouldn't be having this, we shouldn't be doing this. But you can make a decision for your family and what you feel is best. So I just, again, want to just give a little informal and provide a little bit of where I'm coming from, so it may not be where you're coming from, may be totally different. I understand that, and I understand that it could be a lot more difficult. But that's how I grew up. And then when I had kids of my own, my husband and I made the decision from the beginning, as far as when the kids were old enough to go out trick-or-treating or do whatever, we made the decision that we were not going to be involved or partake in any way. And that's when I started doing a lot more research on digging. You can look around and see what Halloween represents. You look around and you see skeletons, and you see all these ugly, evil things, and you see body parts and blood and gore and just ghosts and witches and all these things that are not good. And I know there are costumes that are harmless. You'll hear more about that. I don't want to go in depth on that right now, but we've got to do what's best for our family. So I started researching, digging deeper, and finding out the origins of Halloween and what's behind it, and these things that we do, even the jack-o'-lanterns and these other activities, the trick-or-treating that people engage in. And we just decided early on that we were not going to have any part of it. Our kids were not going to go trick-or-treating, but I wanted to explain to them the reasons why. And so every year since my kids were little, and it's gotten to the point now, they're like, yeah, Mom, we know, it's gotten old to them. But I want them to know, and I've had them watch some videos, and I have looked up information and printed stuff out and, gone over it and taught them. This is why. It's not just because I'm telling you that it's not good, but here, let's dig and let's get into the history of it. And let's study this out. And do we really want to have anything to do with it? And so October has kind of always been, now my kids are a little bit older, so it's different. But when they were younger, I would just always dread October because, I love fall. I love the season, fall. However, the month of October and even leading up to that, it was just everywhere we could go. I could hardly take the kids out with me because there was just this ugly, scary stuff everywhere. And I would have to shield their eyes or tell them, like, don't look at that, because they would literally have nightmares and dreams about this stuff and be scared from just even ads in the newspaper that they would see and all these spooky things there. And so that was just the decision that we made for our family going forward. And also we, at the time, were pastoring a small home missions church in Blythe, California, and we never did any harvest festivals, anything like that. We did have some other young kids there in the church, but we just explained to the families, to the parents, that this is not something that we participate in. If you want more information, we're happy to provide that, but we don't want to have any part in in celebrating this. And I know there's a lot of different viewpoints on that. And again, I'm not condemning anyone, saying that you're wrong. I know, some people have the view and belief that this is a time that we can outreach and reach our community and all kinds of different things. And it's providing a safe place for kids to come. I get all that. I understand all that. I'm not saying anything against that. It's just, for me personally, I have this conviction, and so I cannot have any part in any of that, even though it seems harmless, or we're doing outreach, or we're doing whatever. I just cannot take any part in that. And another thing that I wanted to share, and again, this is just me personal, this is just me talking some things that I've seen personally, or I've experienced, or where I came from, my background in leading up to this, is I have also seen people, when they backslide and they leave the church, all of a sudden they become really big on Halloween. And I've even known people go to the extent of having Halloween weddings. Personally, I know people. And just becoming where, this is their favorite holiday, and they want to dress up. And they're not just dressing up like, nice, friendly characters, but they're dressing up, as ugly, evil things. And so, I've seen this take place, and I believe that there's something to that it's not just coincidence, it's not just something harmless, but there is something behind that. And even in my own life, I can tell you that there were some years where I was not where I needed to be with God, and I was not living right, and kind of out on my own, and had that freedom. And I did dress up. I worked at a place, at a restaurant actually, and everyone would dress up. And I am not proud to admit, but I did dress up, and it wasn't wasn't anything evil, but it wasn't appropriate. Let me just say that. It wasn't appropriate. And there's something to that. In the same way that when women backslide, that have been in the truth, that have not cut their hair, when they backslide, one of the first things that they do is go out and chop their hair off. I know that you've seen it, because I've seen it over and over again, many times. And I've also experienced that, not that I went and did it, but I felt like doing that. I had something that rose up in me, and it was just so odd. And I may have talked about this before, but it seems odd, but there's a reason behind it, and the enemy is at work behind that. So there is something to that. And so I wanted to share that as well, that I have seen these things personally take place, and I've seen people's viewpoints change, where when they backslide, when they drift away from God, all of a sudden this becomes a huge holiday that they want to partake in and celebrate, and going along with all the parties and everything, the works, not just the nice little harvest festivals or whatever, but they really get into it big time. So I think that there's something to that. And again, I'm going to be sharing more information on this, and not only do your research, but pray about it. Pray about it and ask God to open your eyes and reveal things to you. And this is one thing that we're focusing on in the month of October, is illuminating the darkness, shining the light in the darkness, exposing the darkness, and driving it back. So I pray that this helps you and causes you just to think. And I know some of these decisions are not easy ones to make, again, especially if this is what you've been doing, or you were raised in this way, feeling like it was harmless. Just have an open mind and seek the Lord. That is the best thing that we can do in any situation regarding anything, is to seek the Lord and ask what He says and what He thinks about it. So that's just my little tidbit there, and I will be sharing more with you. And look forward to this month of October Madness, where we are going to be attacking the kingdom of darkness, and we are not going to partake in what this world is doing and celebrating, but and that's another thing, it's just really quick, it's a lot about death and the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, and all of that stuff. It's about celebrating the dead. And I'm not going to do a whole Bible study on that right now or go into that, but that is not biblical. We are to celebrate life and new life in Christ and not death. There is no hope in death. There is nothing good in death besides if we are saved, then we go to be with him in heaven. But other than that, it is not a good thing. So that's a main focus of Halloween and all these celebrations around this time. So just something to think about. God bless you.